What do you think of Crawford Canelo? There's a lot of talk about that.
I think Canelo wipes the floor with him. I love Crawford. I told you when Crawford and Spence that Crawford would beat the hell out of him, but Canelo is a different proposition.
A good little man has never beaten a good big man.
Predictions keep rolling in from all around the boxing world, with many warning Crawford about the risk he's taking by facing Canelo. The idea of Terence Crawford moving up 3 weight classes to challenge Canelo Alvarez has become a major talking point. While Crawford is riding the momentum after dominating Errol Spence Jr. to become the undisputed welterweight champion, many believe that Canelo's size and power at super middleweight are on a whole different level.
See that as a weakness. Seeing how they match up, I think that we just overhyped Crawford, and I think Canelo is going to beat him up.
Why do you think he's overhyped?
The recent win against Spence, but it was mostly because people just hated Spence. It wasn't based on anything that Terence Crawford did.
And I mean, the performance he put on was amazing.
Was it the performance that could possibly lead to him beating somebody like Canelo, who's had multiple great performances, as opposed to 1, maybe 2? To be honest, he might just be a nobody if he loses, just like Errol Spence was. I kind of feel bad for him now that we set it up, but he still can cancel the fight.
Amir Khan, who knows the risks of moving up in weight firsthand, has been one of the strongest voices cautioning Crawford. Khan himself took that leap after dominating Devin Alexander, only to be knocked out cold by Canelo. He understands better than most how much of a difference a few extra pounds can make. Speaking bluntly, Khan said, "I don't think anyone is beating Canelo. I'm hearing Crawford is moving up to 168 to fight him. I like both guys, but I don't think Crawford should give up that much weight." His warning comes from hard-earned experience.
Terence Crawford and Canelo?
I don't think that should happen. Look, I like Crawford, and I think Canelo is a beast that way. Honestly, I would advise Crawford not to do that.
Giving up that much weight to a proven power puncher like Canelo is a dangerous move. His shots at 168 pounds carry real bone-crunching power, something even the most skilled fighters struggle to handle. Khan's warning isn't just about size. It's about physics, leverage, and the raw power that comes with Canelo's extra muscle. As talented as Crawford is, he's not a natural super middleweight. Even if he adds the weight, there's a big difference between real strength and simply hitting a number on the scale.
Say like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets late.
Promoter Eddie Hearn shares these concerns, describing the potential matchup as a battle between 2 generational greats but with a clear physical disadvantage for Crawford. Hearn, who has followed Crawford's career closely, believes the size difference is just too much. Speaking with Fight Hub TV, Hearn said, "It's a fantastic fight. 2 generational greats, 2 pound-for-pound greats, but I think the weight will be too much for Terence. Even at 154, he's not a big 154, he's definitely not a big 160, and he's certainly not even a small 168. He has incredible skill and a sharp boxing IQ, but so does Canelo Alvarez. I have to give Canelo the edge in that fight."
Is Crawford going to be able to bridge this weight gap?
Yeah, I don't think he can, in all honesty. I mean, he might not be able to bridge it on Saturday.
Yeah.
So,
one weight class.
68, yeah, but you're coming up from 35. 35, 40, 47, 54. Sooner or later, it's one too many. And 68 is definitely too many. But Crawford's brilliant. Like, he's a genius. He's a generational great. So maybe he can find a way to do it. But I feel he'd be hugely outsized.
Hearn took it a step further by predicting a stoppage if Canelo can take control early. He understands that although Canelo is the naturally bigger fighter, he doesn't like to chase opponents. Canelo prefers his rivals to stand their ground, trade shots, and feel his power. Crawford, known for his slick movement and sharp counters, isn't likely to engage that way. But as Hearn noted, if Canelo manages to cut off the ring and force exchanges, the advantage swings heavily in his favor.
Terence Crawford fight?
I don't think so. I think that it's much too much weight for Terence. His style was difficult. And, people will say it was a poor performance from Terence, but let's just say it was a great performance from Madrimov. I think 168 is much too big for Terence. But like you said, if the
Ryan Garcia also shared his thoughts in a recent interview with AK and Barack. Having sparred hundreds of rounds with Canelo, Garcia was blunt in his assessment. Crawford can't beat Canelo. He didn't look that strong against Madrimov, and Madrimov isn't even big. For Garcia, it's not just about size, it's about experience and mastery. He pointed out that Canelo has perfected his style and always knows what's happening in the ring. Having fought elite names like Gennady Golovkin, Sergey Kovalev, and Caleb Plant, Canelo has faced every kind of opponent and found a way to win. His ability to adapt and succeed across multiple weight classes is proof of his ring IQ and toughness.
Canelo and Crawford, what do you think?
That's going to be a great fight, too. I can't believe they made that happen. Turkey's been making a lot of great fights happen. You can't really hate on it. But I'm excited for that. I know Canelo is so big, so strong, and I think he'll be just too big. I mean, weight classes matter for a reason. Last question, Ali.
Teofimo Lopez is also siding with Canelo, predicting a late stoppage for the Mexican star. I think Crawford is going to give Canelo some trouble early on, Lopez said. But once Canelo gets comfortable and adapts to Crawford's style, I see him finishing it in the later rounds. Lopez isn't wrong to point out Canelo's skill in making adjustments during a fight. It's a big part of why he's been dominant at the top level for so long. His ability to read his opponent and make those subtle changes mid-fight is what sets him apart. Still, not everyone is ready to count Crawford out just yet.
Before you get out of here. All right, listen, we can have the skills and everything, but jumping that much like that, it's a take. Jumping like that much, getting hit. I don't think Crawford's ever fought a fighter that's hit him directly, just straight, constantly in the arms. And it's not because they can't. They don't think that way.
Appreciate you.
Gotta clear it out, guys. Remember, this man's been pro since what, 14?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
15.
Yeah.
Veteran trainer Teddy Atlas, known for his blunt opinions, offered a different perspective on his YouTube channel. Unlike many others, Atlas doesn't believe Canelo's size will be the deciding factor. He pointed out Canelo's slowing foot speed and his struggles against slick, mobile fighters. Can Canelo handle the smaller guy who's faster, slicker, and better defensively? Is the smaller Crawford going to take advantage? Atlas questioned the idea that Canelo's size alone would determine the outcome. He sees Crawford's agility and defensive skills as potential game changers. I'm not going against Crawford, Atlas said. I think he's that special guy. Canelo's special too, but Crawford even more so. He hasn't learned how to lose yet, and I believe he has those special qualities that go beyond just physical strength.
Crawford, his composure going to be like the moment a punch lands on him from Canelo.
Are you kidding me? Take that question back.
Yeah, why?
Because you're talking about Crawford.
Yeah. He's the weight classes.
He's the most composed guy. What, you don't think he'll be prepared? You think it'll be a shock to him? No. He's already moved up 3 weight classes. So now you're talking 6 if you add on 3. Crawford has the ability to slow things down in the ring that very few people have, and to see things.
Atlas's belief in Crawford goes beyond hope. Crawford is one of the most well-rounded fighters of his generation. He's a master at controlling distance, timing, and angles, and he's never been beaten. That undefeated record gives him a mental edge you can't ignore. Fighters with perfect records often carry a deep confidence in their own toughness, and Crawford's mindset is built on that unbroken streak.
Kovalev was older. He does. Don't get me wrong. He does have a lot of power, but all those guys that you name is not as skillful as me. I'm sorry. No disrespect to none of those fighters. The skill level is not there.
So how do you see a fight with Canelo go?
Tough fight. Canelo is a great fighter. Like, I always had respect for Canelo, but I just believe in my skills. The fact that people doubt me, it just fueled me even more.
Veteran promoter Frank Warren also shared his thoughts, pointing out that Canelo has shown some cracks in recent fights. You know, Skull was landing on Canelo, he said, making the potential matchup with Crawford even more interesting. Warren added, I always say a good big guy beats a good little guy, but Crawford could really give Canelo trouble now. Warren's comments suggest that Canelo's image of being unbeatable might be fading. The years of moving up and down in weight could be wearing on him. Still, most experts lean toward Canelo because of the physical challenges Crawford faces. Moving up from welterweight to super middleweight isn't just about gaining muscle. It means adapting to the speed, power, and strength of bigger fighters.
And he's got to give a lot of weight away, Crawford, but it could give Canelo a real problem now because Canelo was getting caught.
Watching that, do you think Crawford might be, perhaps licking his lips isn't the right word?
Well, I'm sure he was. He was sitting ringside. He was sitting a couple of seats away from me ringside. You could see he liked it. No schmuck. He knows his boxing. And the other thing is, you've got to look at, what's his name? Was it Modric? What's his name? Madrimov, who he fought. Also gave him a tough fight. for a guy who only had 12 fights. So it's going to be a very, very interesting fight between the two.
Facing Canelo isn't just about skill. It's about surviving against someone who hits much harder and can take more punishment. For Crawford, this fight is about pushing his limits in ways he's never experienced. He's dominated everyone he's faced, but he's never been in the ring with a powerhouse like Canelo. That alone is a warning that can't be ignored. Oscar de la Hoya sees it the same way. The size difference has been the main talking point in every analysis, with de la Hoya convinced that Crawford might be taking on more than he can handle.
A good little man has never beaten a good big man in the history of the game. Unless you go back to certain situations with Pacquiao beat me, but I was a dead man walking anyway. But a good little man never beats a good big man, so it's a tough test for Crawford, but I'm not counting him out. The bottom line, and this is the truth again, it's a money grab.
Despite Crawford's dominance as an undisputed champion at 140 and 147 pounds, moving up to 168 is a whole different challenge. At that weight, size, and raw power can overpower even the most skilled fighters. Canelo, a 4-division world champion who has competed as high as 175 pounds and claimed a WBO title by stopping Sergey Kovalev, represents a completely new level of threat. Crawford's reign at 147 pounds has been marked by knockouts and an unbeaten record, but the physical demands of facing someone like Canelo are a whole new kind of test.
There's no Triple G on Bud's resume. There's no Trout on Bud's resume. There's no Daniel Jacobs on Bud's resume. Canelo is the one that's fought the elite level opposition. It's Canelo that fought Laura. There is no Laura on Bud's resume. There is no Laura on Bud's resume. Bud has never faced a multiple division champ. Bud has never faced a multiple division champ.
Yeah, but Bud is an elite boxer.
So you're an elite boxer, but you haven't fought elite.
Alvarez has won titles in 4 different weight classes and has faced powerful punchers and top-level fighters who challenge a boxer's toughness like few others can. His only 2 losses came against Floyd Mayweather, a master technician, and Dimitri Bivol, a natural light heavyweight. Even in those fights, Alvarez went the distance, showing his toughness and ability to handle much bigger opponents. For many, the outcome of this fight seems clear when they think about what happened to Charlo.
I'm going with Terence Crawford. You know, big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. You know, it ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this the last couple of years. I'm not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now. You got to.
Jermall Charlo's recent challenge against Canelo at 168 pounds is a clear warning for Crawford. Charlo, who was once the undisputed champion at 154 pounds, tried to close the weight gap but ended up taking a harsh, one-sided beating. From the very first round, the difference in strength, size, and power was obvious. Canelo controlled the fight from start to finish, easily pushing Charlo back whenever he wanted.
And the biggest question to me, how will the 12-pound difference be for Terence Crawford? It's going to be his first fight at 168. For Canelo, this is the weight class that he always fights at, no problem. But I'm really curious on how Terence Crawford is going to be able to adjust to this and if it's going to be advantage or a disadvantage.
Charlo's skill and experience meant little against Canelo's overwhelming power and physical strength over 12 rounds. Despite his rocky relationship with Alvarez, Oscar de la Hoya saw this fight as clear evidence that weight classes matter. He called a possible Crawford versus Canelo matchup a one-sided battle, where Canelo's size and power would eventually wear Crawford down. Most likely by the 7th round, when Canelo begins to pressure his opponent relentlessly, breaking down fighters just like he's done time and again.
They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. You know, so let's not do that, Canelo.
Roy Jones Jr., a boxing legend known for his sharp insight, also shared his thoughts. He advised Canelo to use his size advantage fully, pushing Crawford hard from the start to make him feel the difference in weight. Jones knows well the risks of moving up in weight. He successfully fought as a light heavyweight and even won a heavyweight title, so he understands the mental and physical challenges Crawford will face against a naturally bigger and stronger opponent. Jones warned that Crawford's speed and skill might give Canelo trouble early on, but those advantages will disappear fast if Canelo turns it into a physical fight, cuts off the ring, and forces exchanges where his power can dominate.
Hey, man, it's a great fight for boxing. I know people don't agree with it, but if Canelo fights one inkling of the wrong fight, he's gonna lose. If he comes out and fights the right fight, it's gonna be a tough one. So right now, I think it go be either way, but it depends on what type of fight Canelo fights.
You've been a guy that went up in weight class. How do you think Terence Crawford should handle the weight? Should he come in lighter? Should he come right around the weight limit?
Come in as big as he can get. He get to the weight limit, because there is a weight limit.
Abel Sanchez, a veteran trainer famous for working with Gennady Golovkin, shared a straightforward opinion, calling the fight a mismatch. He compared it to Golovkin's bout with Kell Brook, where Brook's quick hands and skill gave him some early success but were eventually crushed by Golovkin's size and power. Sanchez believes Crawford will face the same fate. He might look good for a few rounds, but Canelo's relentless strength will wear him down, likely leading to a stoppage between rounds 9 and 12. For Sanchez, the difference in natural size is just too big. No matter how much weight Crawford puts on, Canelo's punches will hurt more and the physical toll will only grow as the fight goes on.
It's a ridiculous fight myself. I think that Crawford is too small. Canelo is, in my opinion, the face of boxing right now. I think that look at his resume. I think it's a good fight for a little while. Crawford's hand speed will, just like when Golovkin fought Kell Brook, the hand speed was evident at the beginning of the fight. But as the fight goes on, Canelo's going to start pounding on him, and I think that the fight ends somewhere between the 9th and
Robert Garcia, a seasoned trainer, took a more cautious stance. He pointed out that Crawford's recent fight against Madrimov raised some concerns. Garcia felt Crawford might have been distracted, possibly already thinking about a big showdown with Canelo. For Garcia, this lack of focus, along with the size difference, makes the fight tough to get excited about. He argued that if Crawford had shown a more dominant performance, fans might be more eager for the matchup. But right now, the general feeling is that Canelo is simply too big, too powerful, and too experienced for a welterweight moving up 3 weight classes to seriously challenge him.
I see Canelo winning, and I'm not, you know, I don't know Canelo very well. I'll say hi to him if I see him. He'll say hi to me too, but we're not friends. You know, I could probably say I spent more time with Crawford, so I would love to see Crawford pull it off. I would be more happy to see Crawford win, you know, because I know him better. I know him.
Despite all the warnings, Crawford stays confident. In a recent interview with The Ring, he said he believes Canelo hasn't been showing his full power in recent fights. Crawford thinks Canelo held back against fighters like Munguia and Berlanga, saving his best for a bigger challenge. This kind of confidence fits Crawford's style. He's built his career on proving people wrong and beating the odds. He also shared that going into a fight with Canelo, he's not just focused on getting a knockout, but on staying smart and sticking to his game plan.
Hit me like, oh, man, maybe he on to something. You know, then I started sizing him up, and I'm like, all right, well, Canelo 5'7", you know, my arm's longer. Yeah. He's strong, I'm strong. Right. You know, it'd be, to me, skill for skill. Right. You know, because Canelo not the biggest 168 fighter. So, I just started.
Crawford knows Canelo has a tough chin and has never been stopped, but he believes his quicker, sharper punches could still hurt the Mexican star if they land cleanly. He doesn't buy into the idea that Canelo is untouchable, saying every fighter can be hurt by the right punch at the right time. For Crawford, the plan isn't just to go for a knockout that might never happen, it's to fight smart, outbox, and outmaneuver the bigger opponent. Still, Crawford's confidence meets a tough reality. No fighter has ever moved up so many weight classes to take on a current pound-for-pound great without facing serious consequences.
I gotta stop him. I just gotta beat him. I'm not going in there looking to knock Canelo out. Could it happen? Yes, absolutely. You know, when I look at Canelo, he's a smaller, bigger guy moving up in divisions. You know, being that these big guys are slower, so they might catch him with something, but he might see it at the last moment. You know, they might catch him with a hard...
Shakur Stevenson, the WBC lightweight champion and a close friend of Terence Crawford, has been openly confident about Crawford's chances against Canelo. He's held this belief since as far back as 2021, even before Canelo's recent loss to Dimitri Bivol. Stevenson thinks people often underestimate Crawford's power, mentioning that Crawford has even hurt heavyweight sparring partners during training, showing just how strong he really is despite fighting at lower weights. Stevenson also highlights Crawford's top-notch boxing skills and footwork, predicting these will help him outmaneuver and outclass Canelo throughout the fight.
Honestly, I think Bud could beat Canelo.
Would you like to see that fight?
Would I like to see it? Yeah, I would like to see it. Just because I know, I don't think that, like I said, I've been saying this, I don't think size win fights. I think skills do. So, I don't know who else probably will listen to me, but I think, Bud, stylistically, now I don't think, I think, being a southpaw with good movement and sharp box.
Stevenson also points out that Crawford's southpaw stance will be a tough matchup for Canelo, who has struggled against left-handed fighters in the past. So confident is he in Crawford that Stevenson has even said Crawford will destroy Canelo, showing his strong belief in his friend's skills. On the other side, Dimitri Bivol, the man who handed Canelo a major loss in 2022, offers a more cautious take. Bivol recognizes Crawford's skill and danger, but stresses the challenges of moving up in weight to face a bigger, stronger fighter like Canelo. He highlights the need for Crawford to fully adjust to the 168-pound division, warning that the extra power and physicality at this level can be overwhelming. What do you think? Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more updates.